there are two types of change that we can talk about. One is a somewhat superficial change that helps us feel better about ourselves and about life and maybe lifts depression. And the second is more of a transformative change that runs much deeper, where we may feel better at times, we may not feel better at times, but something is really different about us. Now, we can't do that by ourselves. God's got to be working in there, but we can participate in that change process. So a number of years ago, a good friend of mine, Dr. Joanne Shade, and I got together, and she's been working with people forever, and I've been working with people forever too. And the same, we kind of went through people that we were thinking of, no names specifically, but who really changed. And people jumped out in our minds, oh wow, that person didn't just get better. I mean, man, their life was just radically different. So what happened? And we thought through, and we saw that there are 4 shifts that people who do a deeper change go through. And we wrote a book called Transformative Change. Transformative Change. So in this talk, I want to introduce those 4 shifts. And in following talks, I'm going to go through each one. Okay, so let me just go through them. The first shift is a person moves from a life of blindness, deception, to honesty. From deception to honesty. The second shift, a person goes away from the shame and the blame game to personal responsibility. The third shift is someone moves from a life of fear to a life of courage, because it takes great courage for many to face what they have to face in life. And the fourth shift is from pride, I can do this all by myself, to humility. I need God's help. I need other people in my life. Okay, so let me go through them just a little bit more depth, and then we'll wrap that up and go through it each one in the next talks. So what do I mean from deception to honesty? Most people don't think they live a life of deception until they really take a deep look, because what we think is, I can see life the way it is. I live life as I see it. I'm not trying to hide anything, but we actually are. Let me give you an example. When I was in high school, I played football, and in the summer practice, I got my knee banged up. Okay, my knee was hurt. But I was a featured player on the team, and so all the coaches and me pretended that it wasn't as bad as it was. So we were willing to lie to ourselves, to live a life of deception. Hey, you can get through this game, can't you? Hey, just put a little ice on it, wrap it up, go out there, suck it up, boys, suck it up. And I did, just hoping and wishing and praying that, it wasn't that bad, but it was that bad. It was that bad. I had to have surgery, and it really, really wiped me out for a while. But I kind of knew that it was worse than it was, but that honesty would have been too costly. So me and the rest of the team lived a life of deception, but ended up paying a price. Okay, many better examples that we'll get into. The second shift from shame and blame to personal responsibility. What do we mean by that? Oh, this is a rich one, because we all do this. When we have pain, we have to explain it. If there's a failing, we have to explain it. We'll explain it one of 2 ways. Either I'll explain it by saying, I'm a loser, I screwed up, I feel guilt. So there's the shame part. I don't like to be me. I'm embarrassed to be me. I don't want you to see me. I don't want you to know me because I feel so bad about myself. Or I'll blame somebody else. Well, I never got a break. Well, that person just lied to me. So what do you think? They deceived me. So I'll blame somebody else. I'll be a victim. Either I'll be the culprit, that I've done something wrong and hate myself the rest of my life. That's the shame. Or I'll be a victim and I'll blame whatever. We can all pick somebody or something to blame to explain why we are the way we are. But the shift is, I'm going to go away from beating myself up. I'm going to go away from hating other people and being angry at life and that sort of thing. And I'm going to say, if I want to change, and if I want to be in deep relationships, and if I want to have a productive life, I've got to take responsibility for it. I've got to do my own work and not just sit and pout about myself or be upset with all of the other people. Now, that's a hard thing to do. So that's the second shift, from shame and blame to personal responsibility. The third is from fear, from fear to courage. Very simply, it's the best way that I know how to say it. Be kind. Everyone you meet is fighting a great battle. They may look good, they may look fine, they may look happy, they may be productive, adaptive, and that sort of thing, or they may not. They may look like a mess, but everybody's fighting a great battle. And to change can often require tremendous courage, because here's the thing. Even if I'm miserable, I know what misery is like. Gave a talk on depression. I can decorate my darkness. I know what depression feels like. I'm not sure I want to give it up. If I move out, I don't know what that's going to look like. Change could be costly. People might not like me. I may not succeed if I try to change. It may take great courage, especially if I've tried to change and failed, if I've tried to be in a relationship and been rejected. So it's going to take great courage to change. And yet, deep change will not happen without risk, without effort, and great courage. So the fourth shift, and they all work together again, it's not in any particular order, but the fourth shift is from pride to humility. Here's what I mean. Okay, this is how you see the deep breath. Pride to humility. Well, what I mean by this is that many of us are self-sufficient, and we're going to figure it out. We're going to do a workbook. We're going to do our spiritual disciplines. We're going to overcome whatever, because we're going to gut our way through it. But there comes a time when you say, I just can't do it. I can't figure it out. It's kind of like the first step in the 12 steps, but a little bit different than that, but along those lines, where I realize that I don't want to be dependent on anybody, especially even on God. I want God to say, hey, well done, man. You did a super job. Look how you got through your anger problems or your envy problems, whatever they may be. And I'll always feel a little bit of good about my efforts. The humility is realizing, there but for the grace of God go I. And there I will stay unless God works in my life, unless I allow others to enter into my life. And unless I move out of my own autonomy, my own way of doing my own thing, my own insistence that it's got to be done this certain way, my inflexibility, that's my pride, and into the humility of, I need help. Not that I'll be passive, but I need help. And God, please come and do in me and for me what I can't do for myself. Okay? Those are the four shifts. Again, the first shift is from deception to honesty. The second is from shame and blame to personal responsibility. The third is from fear to courage. And finally, from pride to humility. That's transformative change. So stay tuned. We're giving some more talks on those, and we'll really dig in. The four categories are just so helpful. They've been helpful to me, to Joanne, and to people that we've talked to. So I'm Dr. Michael Misja from North Coast Family Foundation. We're a Christian counseling center, been around for 30-some years in Northeast Ohio. You can look us up at northcoastfamily.com. Wonderful staff of strong, licensed, credentialed, experienced Christian counselors. So if you need help, look us up, give us a call, and stay tuned for the next talk on this series. Okay, bye now.